I'm going to take you on a guided tour of Portland, Oregon. Now, Portland is divided into 6 quadrants. I know, that's a lot of quadrants, but we're going to take you quadrant by quadrant so you can see what it's like.
Each part of Portland has its own flavor, so stay tuned so that you can pinpoint which area might be best for you.
Let's go. Before we get kicked off in this guided tour of Portland, Oregon, I just want to remind you, I'm a local real estate agent and I'm here to answer any questions you might have.
If you're coming into town, please reach out. We can set up a time to take you around these quadrants in person so that you can see what houses are like in each area and really get a sense of what's going to be a good fit for you.
So I'm going to go ahead and screen share the map of Portland here, and we're both going to guide you through Portland, Oregon.
It would really be impossible for us to go into detail on all of the neighborhoods in Portland. There are so many great little pockets. That's one of the things we really love about this city. But we are going to try to hit on a few representative neighborhoods in each of the quadrants, because each quadrant, again, really has its own geography, its own personality. Certain types of residents flock to different areas. And so we're going to try to hit on those representative spots in each quadrant.
And let me bring over here just a quick diagram that shows you all the quadrants of Portland. There are 6 in Portland now. We had 5 and we recently just added one, the south, that's highlighted there in blue. The city has put this out so everyone is aware where the south one is. That was part of the Southwest, but they carved that out.
Now there are sextants, but we're sticking with quadrant.
That's right. I've done extensive research into this, and you can still call them quadrants even though there's 6 parts. It doesn't necessarily mean 4. Basically right here, this would be downtown, is right around in this area.
I think in general, it's just useful to be aware that the Willamette River that runs north to south through the city is dividing the east and the west parts of Portland. And like Aaron mentioned, downtown is really where all of the quadrants come together. But the west side of the city, the northwest and the southwest neighborhoods are much hillier. They're bordering more forest. There's more of park and nature, forested areas, hillier areas on the west side of the city. And then on the east side of the river, I would say in general, as you're closer into the city, it's flatter, it's a denser neighborhood feeling.
So I just turned on here the layers so you can see the topography. These are very hilly all through here. Southwest Portland, you can definitely see the contours here and all the way in through here. It is flatter over in this area, and then it's very flat in here with some hilly areas. And then you get over here into Happy Valley, and it's very hilly all through that area.
We're not really going to get into the suburbs in this video, but just something to be aware of is that on the west side of town is where you'll find Beaverton and Hillsborough, which are very popular suburbs because of the companies that are located there. So you have Nike in Beaverton, you have Intel in Hillsborough, and a lot of people are very familiar. They're sought after areas because of the proximity to employers. So that's something to be aware of on the west side. Also, for the beach and ocean lovers out there, the further west you are, the closer you are to our beautiful Oregon beaches.
That's right. And the really popular one for people in Portland to go to is Cannon Beach or Manzanita. And then also you get up here to Seaside and then all the way up to Astoria. So the main beach escape areas is Cannon Beach, and then there's some smaller ones all through here. So it takes you about 2 hours to 2.5 hours to get there. Let's start out by going over each of the quadrants. So let's start by going over the northwest quadrant. A lot of downtown is part of the northwest quadrant, and that extends kind of through this whole area like this and comes down to here. And then the north is generally this area like this, and going to come straight down here. And then our northeast is going to be this whole area, and then southeast is this area, and then southwest is all through here And the south is this little kind of skinny section, basically that kind of shoots right down here, right along the Willamette. And then as you go, the greater Portland area is on the outskirts, basically all around this side. Kind of think of it as like a half circle. And that's where you have the Beaverton and Hillsborough, you know, all over here. Aloha is like right in between the two of them. And then you'll have Tigard, and you'll have Westland, Lake Oswego, and you also have Happy Valley and Gresham. So those are all big areas, big names you've probably heard of if you've been doing any kind of searching or looking at homes already. And a lot of those areas will have their own school districts. So those are called the suburbs here for Portland. Those are kind of some of the big ones.
So if we start in the northwest and we talk about, we've got downtown, and included in the northwest would be the Pearl District, Nob Hill, Northwest 23rd Avenue, and the Alphabet District. So those are some of the more walkable commercial districts with shops, restaurants, cafes within that more dense area. And then you've got the Northwest Hills, which borders Forest Park, and really beautiful homes up in the hills there with views of downtown and the river. Also included in the Northwest area is the Japanese Gardens, the zoo, Washington Park. There are a lot of destinations right there in the Northwest, and really also very accessible from Southwest Portland.
You know, this whole green area is Forest Park. It's just amazing up through there. You also have Washington Park right here, right next to Goose Hollow. Really neat area. Most of downtown is in the Northwest Quadrant. We have the Pearl, Nob Hill, all the cool restaurants, trendy shops, all that stuff is going to be in and around Nob Hill, the Pearl District. Those are kind of the places to be.
And then I would just say in terms of housing, you know, in the city, in the Pearl, Northwest 23rd, there's a lot of multifamily condos or rentals. And then up in the hills, you're getting into single family homes, and I would say a more expensive area for sure.
If you found this helpful at all, go ahead and click subscribe. If you have any questions, go ahead and reach out. I'm a local real estate agent. I love helping people find the right area for them when they're moving here to Portland. And then let's go over to Southwest Portland, and we'll go this way. So starting about here is Southwest Portland. So it kind of really starts right around here in this area, and this is all very hilly, so it's super close to downtown. It's definitely a more expensive area for single families if you're going to be anywhere close and around downtown, especially over in this area. It's very, very hilly, really cool area. But if that's the kind of living you like, that might be a good area for you. So, and as I kind of like zoom out, you know, Southwest Portland is a pretty good size area. It has a lot of homes all in this area here. And it's going to be more residential in that area.
We've helped a lot of people move to Southwest Portland from out of state, especially California. One of the things I think people really like about it is that you can get homes on larger lots, bigger homes on bigger lots, and get that sense of space and value that it's harder to get in a lot of other cities on the West Coast. But it also does have a little bit more of a suburban feel than the east side of Portland and some of the neighborhoods we're going to get into over there. So not as many walkable neighborhoods in the Southwest, I would say, with the exception of Multnomah Village. And Multnomah Village is a really neat pocket of Southwest Portland that has a great Main Street hub with some of our favorite shops. I was just there this week getting some Easter basket stuff for our kids at Thinker Toys, one of our favorite toy stores in the city. There's an independent bookstore in Multnomah Village, a few breweries, and just really great shops, neighborhood community feel there. They have a Halloween parade. You can go trick-or-treating with your kids at the shops in Multnomah Village, and then really walkable right around that area to get to parks and a mix of different styles of homes. So that's just one little pocket in the Southwest that is a little bit more of a community hub.
And Multnomah Village has this really cool old main street. It's around 100 years old. Really cool little shops. Southwest Portland in general doesn't have a lot of this, where the southeast and the northeast and the north is going to have a lot more neighborhoods with these little streets with cool shops. Southwest Portland is basically going to have this one little section as far as having this really cool eclectic main street little vibe. You're still going to have a lot of other choices and shopping, but they're going to be more sporadic. Yeah, so let's go over to South Portland. You can see it here on the map. Let me zoom in a little bit. It's good to see Google Maps has updated to include South Portland now that we have it.
So this is a pretty small part of Portland along the Willamette River, between the river and the hills along the 5 freeway. John's Landing is one of the neighborhoods within this area that we really like. There's a couple of restaurants and coffee shops, and then Willamette Park that we visit pretty frequently. Bordering South Portland, or right in that same vicinity, is OHSU, which is a big employer and healthcare center and university in Portland. So,
yep, and that's in the South Waterfront area, which you might hear about that. There's a lot of new high-rise condos in that area, really neat area, and they've created some little walking, biking trails right there along the Willamette. South Portland, this whole area right to the east of the 5, really neat area. Some cool, very cool, the whole area is very walkable. They've got the big park right here, right along the Willamette. Super cool area. I'll just take you in real quick to give you a quick street view. This is one of the main little streets. Takes you right up by one of the cool little coffee shops we like to go to. So here you can see this is one of the cool coffee shops we like to go to, Jola Cafe. It's a very neighborhoody, very safe. This is kind of this gives you a good feel for it. All right, so next we're gonna move on to Southeast Portland. That's this whole area right in here.
So many Portlandy neighborhoods in Southeast Portland. I mean, I don't even know where to start. So a lot of really cool areas. Eastmoreland is one of your favorites.
Yep. Yeah, that's this area right here. And then you have Westmoreland and Selwood over here.
Each of these neighborhoods we're going to hit on the east side each really have their own hub with a main street or several main streets, shops, very walkable feeling, lots of restaurants and cafes, much higher density, smaller homes in general, I would say. But let's zoom in maybe a little bit further so that we can mention some of these popular southeast neighborhoods.
Yeah, so here's the Eastmoreland that I was just mentioning, and this is Selwood, Westmoreland area. We're all through here.
A couple of major streets in the southeast. Hawthorne has a lot going on, and one really cool pocket off of Hawthorne is Ladd's Addition, which is one of the oldest master planned communities on the West Coast. It's just a really beautiful neighborhood, big tree-lined streets, rose gardens. You can see that it's built on that cool grid.
Yeah, it's a very unique area. I have another video just about Ladd's Addition that you can go check out for more in-depth. Really neat. You can see the way they designed it with this crisscrossing pattern, and then in here are these little mini rose garden parks. Super cool area, very desirable. You're gonna get 80, 100-year-old homes in this neighborhood. It definitely is more expensive because it is very desirable. Something comes on the market, usually goes pretty quickly. So as we zoom out of here a little bit, you're also going to have Mount Tabor over here and Laurelhurst right here. Another really cool area. All these areas in here are really neat.
Richmond, Belmont, a couple of other popular southeast neighborhoods.
And you have East Portland, which is right here. This is going to be a lot more a lot more dense, a lot more greenery, or a lot less greenery, a lot more dense. As you can see here, it's a lot more commercial all through here in this area. And you can see why we're called the City of Bridges. I mean, look at all these bridges all through here.
There's the OMSI, which is a great children's museum right there on the river in the southeast.
All right, now let's cruise up to northeast Portland. And you can see, just for reference, here's downtown, here's the Pearl District we talked about. And now here, this whole area here is northeast Portland, all in here. And then it gets divided right about here for, this is North Portland over here. So in northeast Portland,
a great area with a lot of classic Portland neighborhoods, maybe the Portlandia that you imagine. Southeast, northeast, maybe vie for Portlandia.
Yeah.
So I lived in the Northeast about 10 years ago, close to the Alberta Arts District, which is, I'd say, a more recently gentrifying part of Portland in the last 15, 20 years. Alberta Arts has, again, great cafes, boutique shops, a great children's bookstore, and a lot of great cafes. The McMenamins Kennedy School Hotel and Brewery is right off in that area. You've got Rose Gardens up in that area again. Another somewhat similar area of the Northeast is Boise or Mississippi, which again is more recently gentrifying, very popular for its walkability to shops, restaurants along Mississippi Avenue.
There's Boise. And I'll dive you real quick into Mississippi. And you can see all the shops, restaurants, people eating outside.
A real mix of new build townhomes and apartments and even new homes, higher density, and then older homes back in the neighborhood.
Let me bring it right down into our neighborhood, just so you can get a quick sense. You're gonna get a lot of mix here between old homes and newer homes where they've been torn down and new homes built. You can just get a quick sense here. Some of the little bungalows and homes here, just on a typical street, just dropped right in randomly. So you get a little sense. And here you can see this is a fourplex, that house converted. So you're gonna get a lot of that stuff as well.
And then I think also in the Northeast, a couple of other areas worth hitting on are Irvington, which is a really beautiful area. I would say a little more elegant than the two that we just went through in terms of, beautiful homes, 100-plus-year-old homes that have probably larger lot sizes and big leafy tree-lined streets. Really, really neat area. I would say a quieter area than Boise and Alberta, although Irvington can easily access those areas, but this feels a little bit more family friendly to many, I think. You can get a flavor here of these beautiful, there's Craftsman, Victorian.
Yeah, you can see these huge trees in this neighborhood. It's very flat, so really walkable, kind of that ideal, picturesque American homes with the streets being bikeable.
Similar to Irvington is Alameda, which is just a little further east from Irvington, another great little pocket to check out. And Portland did a good job of preserving a lot of parks. So, you can see in these neighborhoods, there's Grant Park, there's Irving Park, you have Wilshire Park.
Yeah, there's 290 parks all throughout Portland, Oregon, which is amazing. I mean, if you move to Portland, one of the reasons you're gonna move here is for the benefits of being outdoors, having close access to the rivers, hiking, the mountains, the ocean. It's all within a 2-hour drive, and with so many parks here, people really utilize the parks here.
Again, nothing's going to replace coming for a visit and spending a few days driving through these neighborhoods, visiting coffee shops, going on tours of homes to get a sense of the vibe of each of these neighborhoods. But I really hope that this gives you a high-level overview of maybe which pockets you'd most want to check out when you come up for a visit. Okay, thanks for coming on our tour. We want to help you find the exact right crossroads of Portland for you, so reach out. We'd love to plan a visit.
I'm a local real estate agent. I get calls all the time. I love helping people move here, just like we did a few years ago, so we know what it's like. All right, see you on the next one.